Hello and welcome to Mad About Sports for the live stream which we have in hand. It is regarding Indian World Cup team announcement. India have announced their squad of 15 for the 2023 ODI World Cup, which will be starting in a month or so from now. So the last day to announce squad was today, and India have announced their squad. Some same names. I mean, there's no different changes. The selector and captain did come, and we did anticipate this when we were discussing with the Asia Cup squad as well. But looking at how India have played in the Asia Cup, we will be having our discussion around similar lanes as to what could be the combination and what are the names which could have been possibly not been there as well and who should have been included. Antariksh, welcome on the show. What are your initial reactions to the squad which have been just announced?
Yeah. Again, as you said, same sort of reactions. We did the Asia Cup thingy as well, and we did voice our opinions on things that we thought were kind of not going well and what we thought could have been done differently. And one of the main guys there was Sanju Samson, and of course he gets dropped out. That's a repetition of our thoughts yet again. Or उसके अलावा I just think मतलब if I had to predict again at the start of the Asia Cup, even watching the Asia Cup, you could sort of predict what lineup we want to go with. I think we have sort of tried to settle in with that. I'd say three all-rounder kind of a formation, where we're trying to go with Shardul Thakur and Hardik Pandya and Jadeja. Or if not that, at least Jadeja and Pandya to rahenge hi. And then it might shift between Thakur and Akshar Patel sometimes. So
Right.
I think that could be, but we want those 2-3 all rounders to play a part lower down the batting order. So
Yeah.
that's that. And other than that, yes, we will obviously decipher and decode the what our thoughts about the Asia Cup performance regarding the team balance and how the team played. But ठीक है, at least I feel a bit of relief because it's like now two series. I categorize World Cup as a series for the sake of it कि at least हमें कुछ एक series के लिए से coherency और consistency तो दिखी squad में. So I feel a bit better, 5% better.
Uh,
कि चलो
yeah.
कुछ तो है. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, yeah. So that is a good thing. But yeah, let's talk about India's two games, right? I mean, we saw a little bit of action, Indian batting in display in the first game, put under pressure immensely against Pakistan there, 66 for 4. A great revival from young Ishan Kishan and of course Hardik Pandya coming into 4 once again. You reckon now there's a lot of debate which is going around that KL Rahul is being preferred without playing a single game. Now that is certainly a question of contention. Now when we talk about KL Rahul's form as well, we have not seen him play. Now Ishant Kishan scored in that 80 odd. Doesn't really seal him a spot at number 5 for Team India. He's a left-hander. Let's talk about that. And he played under
Yeah.
pressure against a top quality bowling attack.
Absolutely. And just before we go there, Manish bhai, welcome. You want to see the squad? There it is.
Display the
So
score.
yeah,
Yeah.
he wants a squad out there. So yeah, it's the same. It's the same with a few colors added. So yeah, you can see Rohit Sharma, the captain. Gail, Kohli, Iyer, Ishan, Kishan, Rahul, the all-rounder Pandya, and the vice captain Suryakumar Yadav, Jadeja, Akshar Patel, Thakur, the three fast bowlers, and the Chinaman. Yeah, it's pretty much what we expected. Hope you got a glance of that, Manish. But yeah, as I was saying, if we talk with respect to the two games, oof. I don't know why, man. We talked about the fact that if whatever team would actually win the toss would really love to, have a ball first, but we went
Yeah.
with batting. Same squad. Yep. Same squad. So we went to bat first, and I think that really backfired. Matlab, we were already sort of we were unsure kya kare, kya na kare, how we'll sort of face this Pakistani attack, and then we were trying to settle in the first session before the play, not session, but before the rain came in. We were doing decent. Then the rain came out. We came out. We lost a couple of wickets, and then again. So yeah. But when Ishan Kishan came in, I was, I genuinely was about to text you on the group, Abel. I was like, see, he's playing a T20 again, and he did kind of do that, but he settled down his nerves. So did Hardik Pandya. What a mature innings by Hardik Pandya. He saw Ishan Kishan, who was playing the odd shot every 5-10 balls. He settled him. He played with
Because I mean, at the point, I agree with you, Antarish, but you needed to counter attack a little bit as well. You will not go into the shell We scored boundaries on offer, especially that uppercut which Ishan played of Harris Rock, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
That really set the momentum up for India. Like, okay, wait a minute, we can score runs. It's not so
Mm.
hard. Then let's score those odd boundaries. And when spinners came, we took them down. Now, as we mentioned in the preview as well, taking down Nawaz and Shadab with a left-hander in the middle is going
Huh.
to do a wonder. It's going to create a lot of difference. And we saw the difference. When you have a left-hander in the middle of the order, even for Pakistani bowlers, they couldn't bowl the same line. The lines had to change. There was erratic lines all of a sudden because there was left-right combination. See, left-handers, we often say, oh, it's overrated to have left-handers. There's a lot of talk, but it does make a lot of difference if you have a good left-hander who can maybe steady the ship.
Yeah, but and it's not necessarily about just a left-hander. It's like agar sare right-handers, you'd want some change, right? It could be the other way around. If a team is filled with left-handers, you'd want some right-handers as well. It's just so that because when a bowler settles into his rhythm, when a fielding team, just the simple fact कि आप right-hander के साथ हो, you're on the offside, then you have to
Yeah.
move all together and on the
Mm.
other side of the
Yeah.
boundary. It stops the momentum. Even for a bowler, when you're bowling on that sweet
Yeah.
off stump ke bar ki line, you have to literally completely go reciprocate it from the same
Yeah.
angle if you're not changing the ball. तो काफी चीजें change हो जाती है. It's obviously physical, psychological, as well as based on skill. So that and you know what? I mean, I absolutely agree with you. जो ईशान किशन ने वो counter attack किया, that was really required. But again, I had a few complaints कि some of the shot selections, like if you remember that shot, just the fielder had come way beyond
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah.
open.
But that was a good
Like,
shot,
I
though.
was like, he was gone
That
there.
was a good shot. It was like
Yeah, yeah,
Nicholas
exactly.
Poole kind of a shot, no? A good
Yeah.
flick.
I mean, it was a good shot, but वो good इसीलिए था because he was not on the boundary line. Had he been
Yeah.
there, it would have been
But still,
straight.
I don't mind him doing that. You need someone to really impose the pressure back. You saw that 140 odd runs, 66 for 4, 140 odd runs partnership. You have to agree that that really helped them. Now, looking at India's score at least now, you reckon after that performance, Ishan Kishan is your number one choice wicketkeeper, and KL Rahul is number two in the pecking order.
I mean, this will be a headache now. This will certainly be a headache because how do you keep Rahul out? Well, purely on reputation. Like that's how him and Shreyas Iyer got into the squad in the first place.
Yeah,
So now, would you ditch that repetition and but you got to आप एक फिर से एक right hander को नहीं लेके आ सकते into the
yeah.
squad. You just can't do it now.
I mean,
Just for
I'll
the
give you another example as well into this, just to stop you there. Maybe with KL Rahul, with Nishan Kishan, you get a little bit of dynamism in this team because there's a little bit of
yeah.
difference with Nishan Kishan. Like with KL Rahul, you get similar pattern of batters from 1 to 5. Okay, Hardik is different, Jadeja is different. But then when you have Ishan Kishan, I know he might fail, but that little bit of dynamism which he can bring in the middle order, because I'm saying this, he's shown promise that he can bat in the middle order against spin. Now that is very important. Now if he
You
can
know what?
do that, counter attack spin, well and good. You never know. If India were 2 down, he would have maybe counter attacked even more. You never know.
Fair enough. Yeah, you know what, Abel? I actually think now, considering, of course, Rahul can wicket keep, and that's a secondary point. My first point being, I think it might be a contest between Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul now.
Yeah.
For the starting 11 and Ishan Kishan. Let's see how he does in the Super 4 or whatever is going to happen in the Asia Cup. Let's see how he performs there. And even for that matter, Shreyas Iyer ko dekhte kaise karega, because I genuinely think now, because as a left-hander now you gotta have one, and when you have someone who is now looking decently well and thoda form mein flow mein lag raha hai, you might want to now make it a competition between Iyer and KL Rahul, and also with the fact that World Cup hai. Of course, we've seen Rahul keep the wickets, but you rarely know. Like he's not an out and out wicket keeper, right? He's probably what Dravid was back in the day, right? If you know what I mean. So like he's probably that. Uska inspiration bhi Dravid hai, so he might as well have started wicket keeping on a freelance basis
Yeah.
because of him only. But now, so Ishan Kishan is a proper keeper. So you might as well have a situation ki Ishan Kishan bhi hai, Rahul bhi hai squad mein. So
Yeah.
that might be and see, these are the good things. These are the positive signs. Once you have at least ek do game, say when you have this flow going on, you don't have to make black and white decisions. You could settle
Yeah.
in the gray. You could think,
Yeah.
all right, you just don't have to settle for the basics. It's good. It's good that we got the performance. You know what?
Yeah.
That India Pakistan game was absolutely perfect for India. One, we got humiliated for the first 4 wickets, but then we got the recovery which we needed. So, one message sent out कि your OGs are not going to save you every time, which is the Kohlis and the Rohits of this world.
Yeah.
Young people step up, and they did, which was a good thing. and then we posted a decent score, and then we
Yeah.
also got shielded from the humiliation we might have faced had Pakistan chased the target. So I think
I
हमारे
mean,
लिए
one way it was a good batting practice against a quality bowling attack under pressure.
exactly
It's,
exactly, and हम हार का सामना भी नहीं, we didn't have to do that because we avoided that altogether. So yeah, man, that's that.
well, I still think if India would have bowled, India looked much more confident. The body language was really up by the time Indians finished batting because you could sense it. Pakistan felt like they let India off the cliff. What would have happened was if they were 66 for four, it could have easily been a 160, 150 all out from there on. But
Yeah,
266 from there on, it's massive at the end of the day. It
good.
is huge considering the conditions. The conditions weren't easy at all to go out there and really get the game going. But yeah, coming back to the fact again, what we saw with KL Rahul, you can still change the squad. You can still change the squad without
Yeah.
game time. I understand. If KL Rahul is unfit now, come the Australia series before 27th of September, I think you can change the squad again. You can change the entire 15 if you want to as well. So this is a provisional squad. You can change the entire 15 if you want to. Would you really consider if KL Rahul is not really showing a lot of promise? He's still looking very unfit, gingery. His wicket keeping skills isn't good. Would you consider bringing someone like Sanju Samson right there?
I mean, you just answered it, and even if you didn't, you would have known my answer because it's like he's just ready, man. वो keeper भी है, like to top it all off. It's not just that he's just a batsman, another number five, another number five, six, whatever candidate. He's even a keeper and a big time regular keeper for that matter. So, but you know what? Barring any injuries or physical limitations, I don't think Rahul is going to move anywhere because nahi karenge India. We are a nation of reputation. So I mean, we don't make decisions like this. So yeah, uh, I just think Rahul would be there, whether good, whether bad. Maybe an injury or two is waiting for Sanju Samson to actually jump on, but considering his luck, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen, man. He's just one of the most unluckiest people I know in cricket, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
but he's ready. He's ready. He's ready to pounce, and we both know that he's more than capable and sort of more than worthy of being in this squad. So yeah.
Yeah.
When is Pant
Absolutely.
expected to be back, Prakash, brother? That's like a different debate, a different discussion altogether. It's
Yeah.
got to do with the fact that what? Don't forget he's a keeper, and the injuries he faced from his horrific car accident were all related to his knee and on the leg side. So leg ke ekdam टांग के नीचे वाले हिस्से पे.
Mhm.
So the most precious parts for a wicket keeper, because you have to
Yeah.
squat down and then squat up and then squat down and squat up, and a lot
Yeah.
of pressure are on these ACLs and MCLs and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
it's it's not about him being back. It's him being able to play cricket in its fullest extent. So yeah, and as a wicket keeper. So yeah.
True. I mean, it's very important to understand that at this point, we need to give him complete time for recovery, and let's just see. If he comes back in time, it's good. Indian squad at Bharat squad. Ah, nice. Yeah, I mean, if the name changes before the World Cup, well and good then. We might change the Bharat squad or the Indian squad. So let's go. Either way, you know who we are supporting. The name doesn't
Either way, I hope either of these two teams lift the World Cup. Yeah,
maybe the
that's
name
what we
change
say.
could turn the fortune as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, this is
Who
a.
knows? Who knows?
So I'll just ask you a very trivial question. So next year it's going to be Bharat Premier League.
Yeah,
Mumbai
BPL.
Bharat.
Damn, I mean that's gonna be old school. That's gonna be
A lot
old
of things,
school.
huh? You have to change
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of things. So
Yep, yep, yep.
yeah, yeah. Let's say in my opinion, I hope both the names do stay relevant because it's a hassle otherwise to change a lot of names all of a sudden. But either way, when it comes to score announcement, it doesn't really matter if it's going to be Bharat written on the jersey or India. You know who we are supporting. They're all going to be
Yeah.
under the same tricolor, so it doesn't matter. So either way, talking about which, I know I'll just ask you this question as well. There's a lot of debate on the off spinning option you did not go with. Now, Akshar Patel and Jadeja very similar, like. Would you have really considered Ashwin or a Washington Sundar here? Because I know your answers were very similar, but considering the fact that Ashwin has not played since last 26 months, or not 26, but 17 months, and Washington Sundar was another option, would you have considered Washington Sundar at least, given that
Absolutely.
to take away the likeness of Akshar Patel and Ravindra Jadeja?
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And again, I think we've sort of gone with it's like abhi log kahenge isne nahi khela. See, World Cup preparations don't start one day before. You think about it, like obviously you think about it a couple of years पीछे से, but like you really drill down your core 6, 8, 10, 12 months before. So then
Yeah,
आप अश्विन को इंटीग्रेट करवा सकते थे. And we have been talking, had it been any other country, you know what, even if it had been any other country, even in the Indian subcontinent, I would have been no, नहीं खेला है वो, it's all right. But it's in India. You're gonna, you know what, Akshar Patel is not starting. Akshar Patel is gonna first choice uski bench, मतलब वो
yeah.
bench पे रहेगा mostly. So you would
Uh,
want to have someone like Ashwin in your ranks in India who can bat decently. Look, how bad can Ashwin bat in comparison to Akshar Patel? And
yeah,
how bad is he a bowler in ODI in comparison to Akshar Patel? And especially consider the fact that you have Akshar Patel's big brother Jadeja, in the squad. Like they're almost identical, like
yeah,
in
yeah,
every respect.
yeah,
So like it just made perfect sense, and that's what I believe. We've done a couple of hiccups here and there. By I just believe Ashwin, that presence you need, that tactician. Just like we saw Mahendra Singh Dhoni, it really didn't go out well. He was the team
yeah,
mentor or whatever he was, but what was he for? He wasn't going to launch helicopter sixes from there,
yeah.
but it was for this. And of
Yeah.
course, no one comes close to Dhoni, but Ashwin, as we all know, he's a student of the game, as everyone says. At Harsha Bhogle, first of all, says. So yeah, man, matlab, eh, for me, trust me, it would have been a no-brainer. I wouldn't have even considered Washington Sundar, to be honest. Nay,
Yeah,
Sundar would be a bit too high of a punt, but Ashwin,
yeah,
for me, he had to be here in 2021 and say we should have formed all of this. He will,
absolutely.
gather Ashwin into the
I
squad.
think we were way too late, and I still think we're way too late in terms of even finalizing our score. Just one
Absolutely.
month, and we are one of the last teams to announce the score as well. I think we are the last team to announce the score,
Yeah.
indeed. But before that, when we talk about a lot of factors going into this World Cup, what did you make of the bowling performance against Nepal? I felt Indian bowling lacked a lot of intensity. It was way below par in terms of intensity. Fielding was awful. Three catches being dropped. Now, at least looking at bowling performance from yesterday, I know I thought India also was very complacent going into that game against Nepal. But there are some really big areas to improve. At least when it comes to that opening burst, at least in fielding, our bowlers did create chances, but our fielders were not supportive enough. If we had picked up those 3 wickets up front, those 230 could have been reduced to 150, 130 at least.
Yeah, man. I mean, though the opening bowling was horrendous, man. You know what? 65 for no loss in less than 10 overs, Nepal ke saath. What are you doing, guys? Like, what are you doing? Like it may be Nepal, it may be Bhutan, it may be Morocco you're playing in cricket. These are the only few games remaining before the World Cup. Match intensity, you could face Mitchell Johnson in the nets, but match intensity would always remain higher because there is something at stake. And the way we were, especially in the field, as you mentioned, Abel, like our body language was so loose, you know what? And to be honest, I mean, had we lost a couple of wickets, considering the target which was set with DLS, things would have been a bit haywire. And 65 for no loss, and then we got back into the game. We clutched it out there, and then I think it was 6-7 at six, maybe at the expense of 180 runs, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah,
ish. And then we conceded 60, 70 more runs.
yeah.
It was pretty poor, pretty poor from India in terms of that. But we hope it wasn't their best. It was just like it was a small offense, Megamo. It wasn't a big offensive lacking luster, but it was a small offensive, taking the opposition lightly.
Yeah, I mean, even I personally felt at times, yesterday's game should be one of those games where you learn a lot, at least when it comes to fielding. I have always had my doubts on the Indian fielding coach because under this new tenure, at least, I just feel like India have been poor, like poor in terms
Absolutely.
of fielding. We have dropped a lot of catches. Conversion rates have dropped down drastically in the new regime of coaches as well. If you look from the last regime, it was not so great. I think it was Sridhar, even under our Sridhar, it was not that great, but at least in the new regime, I don't see the intensity in the field, which is so important. We've lost a lot of intensity. I think fitness should be questioned. A lot of players were unfit. And then when it comes to dropping dollies, I think that's just criminal. I mean, fielding coach can't do much, but at least when it comes to intensity on the field, these are basics. I still think in cricket, what is in your control is fielding more than even your batting and bowling. So if you can do that right,
Hmm.
then other things will get take care of itself. But you should be able to do your fielding well. Now, if you remember 2011, 2007, 2013, the three ICC trophies, we were one of the better fielding sides in the tournament. We were really good in terms of our fielding ability. If you remember the World Cup final in 2011, especially at point and cover point with Raina and Yuvraj, I think we saved close to 35,
Oh,
40 runs in the final in the opening power play in itself. 9 runs with 5 overs. That's what Sri Lanka was in the 5 overs. And there were so many boundary scoring opportunity, but Yuvraj was diving around like he meant it. That really set the momentum for India. And if you look at 2007 World Cup as well, remember Robin Uthappa flying around, Yuvraj Singh flying around, RP Singh. There were a lot of good fielding effort. Dinesh Karthik. In
you're
2013, we were the
absolutely
best
spot on.
fielding unit in the Champions Trophy. Now, after that, whenever we've lost the important moments, we always felt like we've dropped a catch here or there at some crucial stage.
Spot on, spot on. And you know what? We saw even in the game against Pakistan how they became complacent in their field. They were just letting out. Like I remember, it was just Hardik Pandya who came into the crease, post four
Yeah,
wickets, and he got an edge. And then Naseem Shah just let it go
yeah,
past him for a boundary. I mean, even that set out a momentum because suddenly Pakistan were taking wickets, but the run rate was climbing, and it was like it was
yeah.
contradiction all around. So you know what? I mean, I'd just go out and say that fielding, as you very rightly mentioned, throughout our victories in these ICC tournaments has been pivotal, has been center for success. You could be doing everything right. Again, I put out to Pakistan. If you go and do those basic fielding errors, not saving runs, leaking very obviously savable runs, dropping catches, and 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 also you really need to include the intensity point in the field. It's not just I catch and tumne pakdi. It's like whether are you on your toes, whether you're on your opponent there and ready to pounce. So your body language speaks a lot about that,
Yeah,
and go in
yeah,
itself sort of dumps down the opposition ki, "Arey bhai, all right."
absolutely.
So yeah.
I think it just goes back to that match at Lords in 2021 when
No.
India had its
Haha.
60 overs and India had to ball England out. If you remember the first ball when I think Rory Burns played, the 11 players coming in into that
Yeah.
frame, that
Yeah.
was you saw the momentum shifted. And next ball, Rory Burns gets out, edges
Yep.
it straight into short, into the short cover, and from there on the momentum was with India. That's what I'm talking about. In the World Cup final
Virat
20,
Kohli
momentum.
in that era with his test team was like, I mean, that's still I'd consider one of the biggest injustices in Indian cricket. How he was made to leave the captaincy. Matlab, I'm not supposed to say this, and it's almost like when we have these
You can't keep
debates
it
in
within
football.
yourself as well, right? It's fine. You
Sorry.
can talk about it. You can't keep it within yourself as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, no. Being a Man United fan, sometimes when we have these discussions, that has Pep Guardiola now at least in comparison with Sir Alex or stuff because the treble's done now, the Champions League and like at least in comparison, no one's saying and stuff. So you can't you need to keep your mouth shut very very sort of. तुम्हें बहुत you need to be attentive. In the same way, I'm not gonna say Dhoni or yes, but his ODI record, of course, you're not going to compare the trophies and stuff, and in the end, but uska jo win percentage across formats, I mean, his intensity, you just saw like he was there, like in terms of being one of the best captains India ka, at least in terms of win percentage and the sheer number of victories he's gotten us. Like I think he did surpass Dhoni in terms of test
Yeah.
match victories, right?
Oh, yeah, he's the greatest Indian captain in terms of Test match victory, and
Yeah,
he's the
I mean,
fourth in the
even
world,
in
and third in the
it's
world. He's behind
exact
Steve
man,
Waugh and
like
Ricky Ponting. So that's
greatest injustices, greatest.
yeah,
Sorry for
yeah,
drifting a bit off topic, but yeah,
yeah.
Kushagra, welcome. He comes in and says realistic expectations from the World Cup.
Champions. Let's be very realistic. Yeah.
Unrealistic to nahi likha.
But
Right.
yeah, I would say top four. Like I'm talking about Premier League table over here. top four, top four
Yeah,
realistically.
yeah.
Then what
Get
happens in the
come top four,
semi-finals?
get to the Champions Trophy, qualify for it now. But
I think India's real game begins once we qualify for top four. But to qualify for the top four is not going to be easy. It's a all round robin World Cup, right? It's like you play against every team in
it's good.
different grounds across India, and I don't, all the teams are good enough to beat anyone on the given day. Even Netherlands can pull an upset. I'm being very honest.
Oh,
Netherlands can pull an
they
upset.
can, they really can,
They
they
really
really
can
can.
pull an upset. So
Yeah.
we're not going to take any team for granted. You saw what Pakistan can do. You know what New Zealand can do. Australia, South Africa. Every
Oh.
team has got ammunition in their hand. And
The,
let's
the,
not
the,
be.
the good thing able here is that it's a round robin and it's a big round robin because you know what, I mean, we discussed about this very long ago, and I saw one of these reels or stuff on YouTube, and
Yeah,
मतलब क्या है BCCI? It's the richest board ever, and मतलब नेपाल, भूटान, पाकिस्तान के साथ एक गेम करा देते हैं, नेपाल, अफगानिस्तान के साथ, you know, we lose the main games, we beat all of these teams, and then we're automatically in the semi-finals. तो semi-final में तो तुम्हें पहुंचना ही है. It's about what you really do from there, and that is where we falter. So it's nice now because whichever teams would qualify for the next round would really deserve to be
yeah,
there.
top
It
four.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
on the basis of
2019
group
World
and
Cup, that was the case. We topped the table. We were the best team in the league stage, to be very fair. We lost
exactly.
the game to New Zealand. It's just unfair. I don't know. It's just luck. A lot of factors came in. The next day it went to 2-day game and whatnot. But India can't falter now. Now people are not going to buy excuses. 45 minutes of bad cricket or 30 minutes of bad cricket. If you have to really win the World Cup, you have to play close to 12 to 13 games of good games of cricket. I think 11
Yeah,
games of good cricket will get you the World Cup. 9 games in round robin and 2 semi-final and final will get you the World Cup. So 11 games, not a small margin at all. It is three
yeah.
series of cricket you have to play to in order to get the World Cup. So you know what is at stake over here, and you have to be really good in terms of
It's
winning.
it's round robin and then top four. That's it, right? No, nothing in between.
Nothing in between.
All right, so that's 10 message chart teams. Oh man, I mean it's you know what, people are saying this that it's gonna be a battle even for the top four, man. It's really
I
gonna
think
be a
it's going to
battle.
go down. It's going to be a very interesting World Cup. I'm very excited about this because of this format it is in. It's a long World Cup. You're playing a lot of matches, 9 matches in the group stage. No joke. You have to win at least 7 or 6 to really,
No,
confirm your
absolutely.
spot there. So, so you have to be on top, and you want to get number one, number two. But I don't think it really makes a difference. Even if you play number one and number four, all the teams are good. So it
Yeah,
doesn't really matter. So
anyone can beat anyone. So it's
anyone can.
basically, yeah, the fourth Ajo anyhow. So you he
Anyone, yeah.
draws that.
So I don't have predictions, but I'm saying realistically top four. But if things go bad, then I don't know. It all depends on how we start of the World Cup.
I mean, this is the risk with this World Cup because there is no quarter final or at least some quarter final. Like, no, it won't be. You won't be spared. You would be like you were knocked out in the group stage, as
Yeah,
was Netherlands, as was Bangladesh. You know, you'd be in that category then, with no disrespect to those
yeah.
countries.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
when talking Bangladesh as well, let's not write them off just yet in the World Cup because I think even the match against them is going to be easy. I think it's going to be a tough one. We're playing Bangladesh in Pune, I think. So either ways, I personally feel this is going to be a very important World Cup for India. The fans, there's a lot of complaints already regarding ticketing. We don't want to go into that, but let's see how things go.
India Pakistan has a waiting limit of 4 months now. You know, so waiting
Someone
list
had a,
of 4
someone had a tickets like wait for 5 years. I know it's a glitch or something. So
months.
like अगले World Cup तक ना wait करूँ मैं.
Wow, I mean
Really,
that's the hype, of course, in India, you know, man. Like I don't know where are these tickets sold. मतलब ICC पे जाता हूँ वहाँ भी sold out. You know, book my show is like you know you don't know where to go, man. You don't know where to go.
yeah. So
But that's the hype of this World Cup in India.
let's just see. I mean, it's crazy. I'm hearing in Ahmedabad they book hospital beds for the World Cup
Yeah,
as well. So it's crazy to see how things have been. That's
yeah.
about it from us. I mean, we've had a good chat on the squad. It's nothing much, the same squad. Though, so no Tilak Varma, no Prasidh Krishna from the squad of 17 from the Asia Cup. They have been removed, and Sanju Samson is again not there. So the same squad except Tilak Varma and Prasidh Krishna, who will be playing in the World Cup for India. So that's about it. That is the provisional squad. If anything goes wrong, KL Rahul gets an injury or something, then you will see a revamp again. Thank you all for joining. It was a pleasure taking all the questions as well. See you all very soon with more action. India will be playing the Super 4 from Sunday, if I'm not wrong, and Pakistan will be playing from tomorrow. So we'll see who qualifies as Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka. Whoever wins this game will have a direct qualification. If Sri Lanka wins, they go into it. If Afghanistan has to, topple Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, they'll have to win by a certain margin of run rate as well. So otherwise, that group is going to be very interesting. 1-1, 1-1. Everybody will be divided on that. So then net run rate comes into picture invariably. But then that heavy defeat which Afghanistan had to suffer against Bangladesh would have really hampered the net run rate. So this is where it's going to be very interesting. Thank you all for joining. Have you take care, all of you, and remember to check out our page on Instagram and also our course in Matter about Sports and Cricket Analytics and Football Analytics as well. If you're an aspiring analyst who want to be part of dugouts, making selection calls, and more of the interesting stuff. See you all very soon. Bye bye.